Hi guys, Lynn Cox here, stress and performance anxiety expert. I wanted to hop on today because you know what? Although we're all very unique individuals and have our own very unique experiences and reasons why, we're experiencing what we're experiencing, different family systems, different interests, like we're just so different as human beings. I do hear a lot of similar experiences when I talk to people, talk to clients and potential clients. So I had a really interesting conversation today that made me want to hop on and say a couple of things. First of all, this gentleman reached out to me from Morocco, all the way from Morocco. A young gentleman who's been experiencing stress and anxiety for about the past 5 years. One interesting thing that he said to me, because I've never worked with anybody residing in Morocco, but I was curious as to why he reached out to me here in Canada. And he was looking for alternatives because from his perspective, he said, in his opinion, and I don't know anything about their system, this is what he shared with me, that the mental health care options there, he said, were terrible. That there's not a lot available, and typically it's doctors prescribing pharmaceuticals. So nothing against pharmaceuticals for those who need them. There can be a case to be made. I don't work with prescribing or doing anything with pharmaceuticals, but it was interesting. So he was looking further and wider than Morocco. That is one thing, though, I have heard across the board, that government provided and government funded healthcare system or mental healthcare options are not adequate. I've heard that about pretty much every country, anybody I've spoken to, from the US to the UK, different countries in Europe to Australia, New Zealand. So that aside, that was interesting. But he said something, and I've heard this from so many people, because I do work with a lot of people who are, in the professional field, have achieved much in the way of work and business and other, accomplishments of that sort. He's been experiencing these symptoms of anxiety for the past 5 years, and his symptoms range from chronic looping negative thoughts, worry about the future, worry about his business. He's in trading, which can be a risky business. So worried about business, worried about his family, worried about all different aspects in his life. Very, very common, and not being able to, I don't want to say shut down those worries, but switch the perspective. And then also a range of physical symptoms: insomnia, stomach and digestive issues, and then along with that, this is a combination of a physical and emotional and mental. Then real challenges being able to be focused, energized, and performing at his highest, due to the, I would say, draining of his energy due to symptoms of anxiety. But this is what he said, which I have heard so many people in similar situations say. I was asking him, why he was reaching out to me, how could I specifically help him? And he said, and I asked, why do you think you haven't been able to kind of resolve this on your own? I'm always curious about that with people. It's a question I like to ask. And he said, I just don't know why. But what I do know and what I do feel is that I should be able to deal with this. I should be able to overcome this. And so a super high level of frustration for being, intelligent and able to manage other aspects of life and achieve certain things. But why can't I figure this out? So that's a really common a really common feeling I have heard other people express. And so, what I'd like to say to that point is that, you know, although our logical minds can be very, very helpful for us in certain things, you know, we can end up in these loops trying to logically figure out, I know I should be able to do this. I know I should be able to remain focused. I know I should be able to maintain a schedule. Why am I unable to, quote unquote, figure it out or do it and stick to it? So it's helpful to know that it is always our emotional, subconscious, driver mind, really. This is where our programs are laid down. This is where our belief systems are laid down. And you don't access that information by using logic and reason to find out why. When people feel like this, then they feel almost doubly frustrated about the fact that they're feeling that way. So it can really snowball and become quite a challenging issue for people. And in his case as well too, he's said, I'm ready to be done with this. I've also heard that. I am so frustrated. I don't know why I can't figure this out. I should be able to figure this out, and I'm ready to be done with this. So very similar across the board. And you know, there's no shame at all in looking at, you know, some experiences that you're having and going, I don't know why I can't figure this out. Because if we haven't become aware of the fact, and we're not really educated in this capacity in Canada or North America anyway, about how our mind works and how our beliefs are formed, and then how those in turn impact the way that we are in the world. You know, if we're not educated on that or have heard about that or understand that, then it can be a really frustrating experience for those saying, I don't want to do this. I don't want to not sleep well at night. I don't want to not have the focus and attention that I need to have in my day-to-day. I don't want to constantly have these looping thoughts about worry, these worrisome thoughts about worst case scenario. So, you know, I think it was Socrates that said, you know, wisdom is knowing that there's always more to know. So when you can take a different approach and understand that, oh, perhaps this is something in my subconscious mind that I can't connect with when I'm using my logical mind, you can open up a whole new world of reason, as well as a whole new world of problem solving, but just from a different level. And so, yeah, it was really interesting to chat with him. I look forward to working with him. Very similar experiences and frustrations across the board. So I just wanted to share that, and I hope everybody's having a wonderful day.